So today I want to consider a part of economics that seems to confuse students a little bit, or maybe a lot, depending on a couple of factors. So welcome back to MOG Economics YouTube channel. My name is Godwin. Uh yeah. So change in demand and change in quantity demanded. So like which one is the change in demand? Which one is change in the quantity demanded? It's not as if students don't know both, but it's sometimes difficult to differentiate one from the other, right? So in the last class we stopped at the law of demand. I think that was the last concept we discussed. Okay, no, we're discussing factors affecting demand. So we left the law of demand and started talking about the factors affecting demand. So going back to the law of demand, it states that other things being equal, the higher the price of the commodity, the lower the quantity demanded. The lower the price of the commodity, the higher the quantity demanded. I think that's it, right? Yeah, that's it. So what then is change in demand and change in quantity demanded? So for one of them, we are looking at changes in prices. So how does a change in price of a product affect the demand for the product? And that is the one that we call the change in quantity demanded. That's what we are looking at. Change in quantity demanded. So this is a movement along a demand curve due to changes in the price of the product itself. So you don't just say changes in the price of changes in price. So you don't say a change in demand is the movement along a demand curve due to changes in price. I may see that and mark you down if you're marking your script. But then what you should do is change in the price of the product. So because if you just put change in price, I may assume, even though I know what you're writing, I may assume you mean change in price of other commodities. After all, you didn't specify, right? And there is something like changes in the price of other commodities. So like let's be careful, right? So basically speaking, a change in demand. So this is a demand curve. Remember, you have quantity on this axis, you have price on this axis. So let's say this was point A. So at point A, you have 20 bucks, 20 naira. Then you were demanding for, let's say, 13 units of something. Let me say 15. I don't, it's a linear curve, I don't want problems, right? So if there is an increase in the price of this commodity, what can make you move along this line? So you can either move upward or move downwards, right? So let's assume that you were moving upward. So you're moving to this point, for example. So you're at point B. At point B, there's going to be a new price, which is going to be higher than this one. So let's say we have a 50, and then we come here, this may have fallen to like 5. So what you have here is a movement. What made you move from here to here? There are only two variables in this graph, price and quantity, right? And then one of the variable determines the other one. It is not quantity that determines the price. It is the price that you are about to buy a product that determines the quantity of the product you are going to buy. So what is making you to like have different quantities? Why are you demanding 15 instead of 5? Or why are you demanding 5 now instead of 15? It's because there is a change in the price of the product. So the price has increased from 20 to 50. So this that you've done here is a movement. You are still on the curve. Do you understand? So what is happening here is a change in quantity demanded. So a change in quantity demanded, which is what we've written here, change in quantity demanded is the movement along a demand curve. So you are still on that demand curve due to changes in the price of the products. A movement along the same demand curve due to changes in the price of the product. So that's it. So we now have two shades of this. We have increase in quantity demanded, and then you have decrease in quantity demanded. So the one that we drew here, actually, this is decrease in quantity demanded. How did we know? So if you want to define a decrease in quantity demanded, so it is the reduction in the quantity demanded of a product due to an increment in the price of that product. So what makes you know if you have an increase in quantity demanded or a decrease in quantity demanded? You look at your quantity, you are talking in terms of your quantity. So because we move from A to B, there's an arrow from A to B, like we came back from 15 to 5. So this decrease in quantity demanded, how do we define it? It is the reduction because this thing fell from 15 to 5. You don't talk in terms of the price at the beginning of the definition. So it is the reduction in the quantity of goods and services demanded as a result. What is making it to come inside of this place? As a result of an increase in the price of the products. So that's a decrease in quantity demanded. The reduction in quantity demanded as a so you can say that I didn't use decrease again um in my definition because I'm trying to explain decrease in quantity demanded. So I wouldn't say decrease in quantity demanded is the decrease in quantity demanded as a result of. So decrease in quantity demanded is a reduction, right, in the amount of goods and services demanded by consumers, right, due to an increase in the price of the product itself. So I wouldn't just say increase in price, it can be price of anything. Okay, now the other way around is for the one of an increase in quantity demanded. Yeah, I know. So I was going to do this. So for increase in quantity demanded, right? So let's say this is price, this is quantity. So you have P1, then this is Q1. Let's say you are demanding this no, this is P1. This is P1 here. Then you were demanding, let's say, 40 of a commodity here at the price of 200 naira. So the price is now 120, and then you are now demanding 60. It is still a downward sloping demand curve. So whether you're talking about an increase in quantity demanded or a decrease in quantity demanded, it is still a downward sloping demand curve. All right. So here, how would we know if it's an increase in quantity demanded? So it simply means initially we were consuming 40. For us to know if there is an increase in quantity demanded, so like you have to be coming from a lower quantity to a higher one. This is point A, and then there is a new point here which is 60, point B. So that means we left point A, then we came to point B. So we are looking at what? A downward movement, right? So an increase in quantity demanded is a downward movement, or let me just follow what I did here. An increase in quantity demanded is um, a rise in the amount of goods and services that consumers demand due to a fall in price of the product. So it went from 40 to 60. So a rise in the amount of goods and services that consumers are demanding, right, due to a fall in price. Because for it to have come from 40 to 60, look at what is happening to your price. Starting from a higher price, then the higher price fell to a lower price. That's why I come here. So now this is increase in quantity demanded. Quantity demanded. So graphically speaking, an increase in quantity demanded is denoted as a downward movement along the demand curve. You are coming from a higher position to a lower position. So don't confuse yourself and be like increase in quantity demanded. Since it is increase, it should be going up. Increase, upward movement along the demand curve. No. From what we've done here now, an increase in quantity demanded is the downward movement. It is the down that means more. Looking at it in terms in quantitative terms now, like in terms of quantity, the downward movement along a demand curve, do you understand? That is caused due to a fall in the price of the product. Downward movement along a demand curve that is caused as a result of a fall in the price of the product in question. So that's about increase in demand and decrease in demand. Decrease in demand, upward movement along the demand curve. No, sorry, quantity demanded rather. So decrease in quantity demanded is the upward movement along the same demand curve. We didn't change. So that settles it. So what then is a change in demand? So we've looked at a change in quantity demanded, which could be in two ways. It could be an increase, it could be a decrease. So a change in demand is basically the shifts of the demand curve. That is a change in demand. You are changing your demand entirely. Like you are not even talking about that demand curve again. So you're having a brand new demand curve. Like it's just something like old things have passed away, other things have become new. Like you're a new creature now. So a change in demand, you are just changing everything. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So a change in demand is a shift of the demand curve as a result of other factors affecting demand besides the price of the product itself. Other factors. Now, let me give you a hint, which is something that I used to give to students in classes, that whatever is going to shift a curve is a variable not in the graph. Now, look at it. You have price here, you have quantity here. So either of these cannot shift this curve. They will just keep causing a movement. So you just be changing position along the same demand curve. But if there's a factor outside, right, that is influencing quantity here, right, even when your price was constant, then that will make your graph to shift. Now let us give an example. So let's say, in your assignment the last time I gave you something about customer review. Okay, let's say the price of something, or should I use customer review? Or let's use two things. We'll be looking at a positive customer review. Then we are going to be looking at a scientific publication that is talking about the harm that a product might cause to the consumer. So how are the consumers going to react? So for a change in demand, we've explained that a change in demand is a shift of the demand curve. So you can have this is price, this is quantity. So we want to denote an increase in demand. So an increase in demand, so you have price one. So you're looking at the market for Coke. And then ordinarily on your own, maybe you take 5 bottles of Coke per week, right? So then you have your friend that just started raving. No, don't let me say five. Let me say two. And then there's a demand curve here, D1, D1. So a friend of yours started raving about this product. So, and the friend is making it look as if you've not taken a bottle of Coke in your life. And the friend is just raving like this Coke is better now. Is this Coke is great, Coke is wonderful. And that's a good customer review. And it might be two factors may be working. Coca-Cola may have increased the quality of their product, and then that is making your friends like rave about it. Like it's so cool, it's so amazing, it's so beautiful. And then by the time you now taste, oh wow, this is true. So what would you likely do? Start buying more of Coca-Cola. The price change. Was it the price that's trying to make you to buy more? No, something else. There's an improvement in the quality of the product, and then there's a good customer review from your friend, right? So now instead of you to be consuming 2 bottles of Coke per week, you are now a big fan of Coke that you are taking 7, one per day, one on Sunday, Monday, whatever. So the price of Coke did not change. So you just have to like trace this to meet the price, the existing price. This is the existing price. And here you have a new, because there's no way you could draw this point on this graph. You can't. So you just have to draw a new line, a new demand curve, which you call D2, D2, and then there's an arrow. If the arrow is there or not is not that necessary, as long as you made this one D1 and D2. So definitely D2 has to be like the new one we're talking about. But it's better to put the arrow. It's just better to put the arrow. Right. So I'm just saying in case it was an OBJ question, objective, and then you don't have any arrow, but this is D1 and D2. And then the question says, what is happening in the graph depicted below, right? You look at it. The fact that the graph is a shift definitely is not quantity demanded. This is not changing quantity demanded, right? So it is between increase in demand or decrease in demand, right? And you look at it, there's D1 is inside at output of 2, quantity of 2, and this is like outside or rightward, output of 7. This is an increase in demand, right? So that is just the answer. So this is going to be an increase in demand due to improved quality, improved quality, and positive reviews. Finish. So if it was a theory question, this title has to be there. I'm telling you these things, right? So that you begin to know what your teachers are watching out for. Then this is going to be in units. So since we are talking about Coke, Coke is measured in bottles. How many bottles are you taking? And this is measured in naira. So the price here will be in full. Then the Q there is quantity, like write the quantity in full. Then in terms of bottles. So I think that's all. So I don't think anybody should see this and then take out of your marks. So then the last one, the second part now is going to be talking about a decrease in quantity in demand of a product. So let's say it is still the same cook. Then a couple of months later, you started consuming more based on what your friend told you, and then you also discovered that it was true that the quality was better. And then, so I'll just do this. At the normal price, you are now consuming 7 bottles. Okay. So in this case, this is going to be your D1, day one. So that's where you're starting from now. So then you now have there's now a publication that says coke is dangerous to the health, and then there was a detailed publication. It was so simple for anybody to read and understand, and then wow, so you're like, ah, hope I've not destroyed all of my intestines, all of my stomach infrastructure. You understand? So you will likely cut down on your consumption of coke. It is not because coke became more expensive. It is basically because you had something else. So here now, customer review is not the variable is quantity, the variable is price. There's no customer review, so it will shift your graph. Quality, what is here is quantity. So quality is not on this graph, it will shift the graph. So in this place now, we are looking at a publication, right? So this is price, that is quantity. Neither of them is publication. So the impact of publication would show, as a shift in your demand curve. So as a result of that, what should just happen is that you don't just jump to the price and then start drawing. You first thing to do is to reduce this. So this may fall to like one, and then you trace that one to where the original price. It is still at the same price, but now what you're buying is just one of the product. And then you draw your new demand curve. So this is D2, D2. Then okay, since the arrow is already here, that's fine. So this is a decrease in demand due to um, a negative scientific publication about the dangers of coke. So it's not necessarily write the title like that way, but write it in a way that reflects what is actually causing the inward shift of your demand curve. So don't just say a decrease in demand, graph showing a decrease in demand. It's not really okay. What is causing, because the question is now contextual. The question told you that this is what is causing it. Like let's say show in your title. So graph of a decrease in demand due to, you understand? And then you're good. So with that now we've been able to like talk about the differences between change in quantity demanded and change in demand. Both of them have increase and decrease. But for change in quantity demanded, we are talking about you still being on the same call, right? And then for change in demand, we are talking about changing your demand entirely. So you leaving your old demand curve and going and having a new one, and that is not caused by price, right? It is caused by other determinants of demand that are not indicated on the normal demand graph. Okay, so did I leave any assignments? Yeah, I left an assignment. So our assignment is for us to analyze the impact of the following on the demand for generators with graphs. So we are going to analyze them with graphs, indicating whether there was a change in demand or a change in quantity demanded. So you look at it, a huge fall in the price of solar panels. So how is it going to affect the demand for generators? So is it a quantity demanded? And you just tell me, is it going to cause increase in quantity demanded, decrease in quantity demanded, increase in demand, or decrease in demand? Something like that. Then number two, you do the same thing, an improvement in the quality of generators. So how does that affect the demand for generators or the quantity demand of generators? Number three, a 40% increase in the price of generators due to rising shipping prices. So it is now becoming more expensive to bring in generators from abroad to import them and then sell them in Nigeria. So a 40% increase in the price of generators due to rising shipping prices. So how is that going to affect the demand, for generators as well? So I think these are pretty nice questions. I'm particularly interested in how you're going to interpret this guy. All right, so thank you. Next class, we'll be talking about the different elasticities of demand. Yeah, so be there. Bye.